What is up? It's Ashley. First off, I'm excited for this video for quite a few reasons. One, it's a baking video. Two, it's Easter themed. Blah blah, what? Two, it's Easter themed. And three, it's a collab. So yes, exciting, super exciting. So the collab is with Karley, and you guys would probably know her as Cartel because that is her channel name, but she is absolutely awesome and she is so nice, she's so sweet, also Canadian. Shout out to those Canadians. You guys should definitely make sure to check out her video after this because she's so great. P.S. Don't forget to subscribe. Totally forgot to mention that. I don't know about you guys, but pretty much any time that there's an excuse to bake, I will bake. So decorating something awesome for Easter I think is such a great idea if you're going to like an Easter dinner party or you're having an Easter dinner party. If you guys have not subscribed yet to my channel, make sure to go ahead and click that link right down below, the little subscribe button, and that way you guys won't miss out on any of my videos, especially if you hit that little bell. So do that too. Let's get into the video and I'm gonna show you how to make this awesome cake.
To start off our cake recipe, we're going to start by mixing all of our dry ingredients together. So that'll be 2 cups of flour, 2 cups of sugar, as well as 2 teaspoons of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 3/4 cup of cocoa powder. Before adding any of our wet ingredients, we're just going to mix everything together so that it is completely blended. Now we can add our 1 cup of oil and 1 teaspoon of vanilla, as well as our 1 cup of buttermilk to the mixture and just kind of mix that together. It is going to be kind of thick, but mix it the best that you can, and then we'll finally add our 1 cup of boiled water. Now I'm sure you have already guessed this, but we're gonna go ahead and mix this together again. And this is the final time that we're gonna mix this. Now you should have a super smooth batter and you can just go ahead and pour that into your cake pans and just try to disperse it as evenly as possible. And just for reference, I used 2 8-inch cake pans for my cake. Go ahead and pop the pans into the oven and you're gonna wanna bake them at 325 for about 45 minutes. Now we can start making our buttercream, and you're gonna take 330 grams of sugar in a pot and just put some water over top of it, just enough to kind of cover all the sugar, and mix that in, and just try not to get any sugar up the sides of it, and have enough water so that it completely covers it. Turn your burner on high, and all you have to do is wait till your sugar boils to 240 degrees Fahrenheit. While waiting for your sugar to boil, you're going to take your 225 grams of egg whites and start mixing that in your mixer. And you're just going to want to have your mixer on low so that it kind of makes this little frothiness of the egg whites, and then once your sugar is boiled, you can go ahead and pour that in super slowly into your mixer. So just pour it down the side, and I accidentally didn't record the clip of me doing this, so that's why there's no sugar coming out of my pot. You can now turn your mixer on high, and you're going to create a nice fluffy meringue, and you're going to want to whip it until it has a nice stiff peak, just like this. Taking 454 grams of room temperature butter, we're just going to chop that up into small pieces and slowly add that into our meringue. So do this piece by piece, obviously not as fast as I'm doing in this video, but I just did that to cut down time, otherwise this video would be super long. Just keep whipping it on high until you have this really light, fluffy consistency and everything is fully combined. With 1.5 cups of the buttercream, I'm going to fill up a piping bag with a star tip and set that aside to use for decorating the top of the cake. To make the middle layer of this chocolate, I decided to take 100 grams of dark chocolate and melt that down, and with about 1/3 of the buttercream that I had left, I separated that into another bowl and then added in all of my chocolate and mixed that until it was fully combined. I decided to make my cake blue, so I added in my food coloring, but I think you could honestly make this any color you would like. Any pastel color would look super, super cute for Easter. Now we are finally on to the exciting part of this, and we get to start assembling and decorating our cake. Go ahead and stick your chocolate buttercream icing on that first layer of cake and spread that around nice and even. Do the best that you can, and I mean, you might have some chocolate icing left over, but that's totally fine. Also, I'm sitting here editing this and I'm so hungry right now, and this cake is looking so delicious and I wish I still had some. I had already crushed up some mini eggs in advance, and I just took those and sprinkled those all around on top of my layer, and I actually put in quite a bit, but I could have used more. Once I was actually eating the cake, I felt like it still could have had more mini eggs. Place your second cake layer on top and just press that down a little so that you make sure that all the mini eggs get squished into the icing. Take a spatula or a scraper and just smooth out your icing in between the 2 layers so you have no holes. I find this the easiest way to ice the cake before smoothing everything out, so just fill up a piping bag and then pipe on all your icing, and just making sure to cover up as much of the cake as possible, and that way it makes it so much easier when you actually go to smooth out your icing. So do the same thing up and down the sides of the cake and just do that all the way around. Then we can start finally smoothing everything out with our spatula. Taking an offset spatula, we're just going to smooth all of our icing out so that everything is nice and flat and nice and even. And if you have some spots that have some bubbles, just kind of go back and forth over it a few times and you should be able to smooth it out pretty well. I also find that a scraper is easiest to do the sides of a cake because it has a nice flat edge and it's not super big like a spatula. I took another little bit of dark chocolate and melted that in a piping bag, and at the tip I just cut a very small hole so that I could drizzle some chocolate back and forth over my cake just to add a little bit extra, because why not? Who doesn't love chocolate? Now, with the white icing that we set aside in the piping bag from earlier, we're gonna go ahead and pipe some rosettes on top of our cake. To do this, just pipe in a circular motion, and just as you're doing the circular motion, lift the piping bag up a little. I feel like this is kind of hard to explain, so you can kind of get the gist of it from what I'm doing in the video. All that's left is adding the mini eggs on top of the rosettes, so just go ahead and place those on your rosettes. You can do them in a pattern like I did, or you could just do them super random. Last but not least, take some cocoa powder and some water and mix that up till you have a paint-like consistency, and go ahead with a paintbrush and splatter that all over your cake. I was chasing highs till I found you. You are getting closer. The cake turned out to be a showstopper in my opinion, and it was so delicious and everybody that tried it loved it. I'm chasing everybody, that is the end of this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you definitely try out this cake because it actually tastes super good. Also, I feel like a giant confetti cupcake batter mix right now because my sweater looks like it. I don't even know if you guys can tell, but it's awesome. Anyways, enough of me rambling. Give this video a thumbs up because you liked it and because Easter and food and cake. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!